Normally, William goes into his diatribe and does his intro, but today we have a different thing. I have something to tell all you people. What do you mean, you people? You got to fight, fight, fight for FSU. You got to scalpel Seminoles. You got to win, win, win this game and roll on down and make those goals. For FSU is the warpath now, and the battle end. She's great. So fight, fight, fight for victory. The Seminoles of Florida State. FLORIDASTATE. Woo, woo, Florida State, Florida State, Florida State. Woo!
And with that, welcome to episode 5 of Chop on the Top, your new favorite college football podcast. My name is William.
And my name is Blake Charlie Ward Robertson.
1998.
That's 93. You weren't even around then.
It feels like 98. And welcome back.
No, it does not. On some ends, it don't.
Welcome back. We're glad to be here. What a week of college football. We can say it now. We are both winners this week.
How many episodes is this?
This is the fifth
This
one.
is the fifth episode. The fifth episode. Now can you dig it? Sucker!
And we finally have both won in the same week.
Somebody.
And it's beautiful.
We're going off the hinges over here.
We are.
Imagine if we were 3-1. What are we doing over here on this side? Good thing for you we're not.
Let's get right
I think that's the answer to my question to you last week. Would I be like that if we won?
Yes.
And I can tell you that we'd probably
that's the answer to the question right there, people. Someone is very happy that they won. Not a good start, my friends. What a great week of football it was. Plenty of good games. Let's start with you guys.
You're going to start with us.
We had the bigger win.
You're going to start with me?
Yes.
Talking about Florida State?
Yes.
I'm okay with this week. I ain't on no Mountain Dew today. But anyway, okay. So I know I'm excited about winning. But let's tempt the brakes just a little bit. We beat Cal. But the defense played exceptionally well. No doubt about it. 7 sacks in one game. That's probably what the best. We had. You know how many sacks we had for the whole year coming in that game?
No.
6. We had more sacks in one game than we had the whole year coming in.
That was great.
Despite whatever you want to say, that's impressive. Would you agree?
I would agree.
And Patrick Payton saw his money going out the door. So he said he better do something to keep that money in-house because he's supposed to be a number 1 first-round pick somewhere in the draft next year.
Absolutely.
And the first 3 games, he was dropping. He saw that money going, boop, 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 boop. Oh, and then he had 3 sacks in one game and made up for it.
Yeah, the defense looked amazing. I didn't watch as much, unfortunately, because we played pretty much at the same time.
Right.
I caught bits and pieces of it. But yeah, you guys looked great from what I could tell.
They look great.
I mean, defensively, you looked great.
Let's just specify. Defense and special teams look great.
Yes.
The offense still sucks.
Continuing to struggle.
But I will say this. The first drive, we scored that touchdown, and then we had another drive going, and then DJ threw an interception. And that took the momentum completely away from the Florida State offense, and they never could recover until that last drive or whatever that was in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, or in the 3rd quarter whatever it
was.
To Douglas.
And then Norvell makes some bad choices sometimes with play calling. I think we should have ran the ball a whole lot more. But unfortunately, the Florida State Seminoles held on. The defense held on. That's all that happened. The defense played exceptionally well. Some of the young guys, Joseph and Jones, the 2 secondary. Joseph got his first interception at Florida State. I believe that's his full career. And Jacavius Jones, covered about as well as you can cover anybody Saturday night. So I believe this Saturday night he should be plugged into the starting lineup. 6'2", weighs 195, and can run. Who should start? You think he should start?
I think he should be playing like that. Yeah, I mean,
play lights out.
I got bits and pieces of it. Again, from what I saw, you guys looked.
Defense looked great.
You looked better overall.
Offense did not.
No,
same thing.
But I think similar in our game, your defense won you that game.
Well, that's for sure. And special teams.
Absolutely. No, that.
You don't win. Special teams is important, despite what people think might think.
Oh,
Yes,
absolutely.
the punter, I can't think of his name right now, but he pinned the ball on the 1 yard line. I mean, he
Yes.
punted the ball to the 1 yard line, right on the one. How many times do you see that from a punter in college football? Not as much as you would think.
Not as many, no. But
But not only Tennessee. Talk about the Tennessee Vols. Oklahoma, I said is going to be 45-20 Tennessee. The defensive side I got right, but the offense didn't quite score as much. But Oklahoma's defense, Vrabel's defense has to be good. They're going to fire him.
Venable.
So yeah, that guy. Venable defense has to be good. Or they're going to fire him. So the offense is nowhere near ready for a game to play against Tennessee in the SEC. I just told William before we got on here that Oklahoma is not the SEC yet. Texas is definitely in the SEC, and they are SEC, but Oklahoma's not. Go ahead.
Yes. No, it was definitely more nerve-wracking than any game this year. But I was expecting that. Big thing, I couldn't tell what. I don't think Oklahoma had a clue what they were doing at quarterback. They had,
We got Jackson Arnold.
yeah, he got benched for Hawkins on and off all night. It seems like they were playing hot potato at quarterback.
You mean somebody benched their quarterback?
Yeah.
What a concept!
Take notes.
Go ahead.
We did not bench our quarterback, as
Obviously.
he made his first true road start in his first conference game. He went down to Norman and got the win on 13 of 21 for 194 yards. I loved how he kept plays alive down the stretch. He did well. Samson went 92 yards on 24 carries and had a touchdown. I mean, it was just, again, for as hyped up as this Tennessee offense is, the defense won us that game.
If you want to play on the last Monday night in January, that's how you're going to do it.
You got to play well on defense, and that is what I think the defense doesn't get enough credit, only because they're overshadowed by that offense.
Well, they're not going to be anymore.
No, I don't. I think it'll be a good mix going forward. Happily for us, we're on a bye this week, finally, before we begin our true SEC gauntlet.
All right, so let's move on to some more games from this week. Michigan and USC. We both said USC would walk into Ann Arbor and win.
We were both wrong. Both absolutely wrong.
I'm happy I'm wrong. Michigan showed they still may have a little fight left in them. They needed that win bad.
Huge game for Michigan.
Huge.
They definitely needed that win. I don't think they're a playoff team, but they're also not dead to right. They're not dead in the water. Their season's not completely lost.
Michigan or USC?
I think both.
Both. I think Michigan still can make the playoff. There's still a lot of room for them. Well, the more and more I watch these conferences play, and the more I think about it, there's going to be one team from ACC and one team from the Big 12, and then you have the mid-major conference. At least 9 spots. I think 5 are going to be filled by the SEC and 4 are going to be filled by the Big 10. It all looks to see who's going to be those other 9 teams. Those 9 teams.
Yeah, I mean, Michigan, we'll find out more this week as they host Minnesota.
We'll get there in a minute.
Minnesota, but I'm just saying, going forward, this is a step in the right direction, but
yeah,
they have to continue to build on this.
Well, they got to win. They got to keep winning. They can't lose to anybody that's not a ranked team. Still,
I don't think they can lose at all.
You think they go 11-1?
They have to.
And play that means they play in the Big 10 title game.
I think maybe. I think with their non-conference schedule being weak so far, and them struggling in that non-conference schedule.
You're not saying they're going to win the rest of them. You think they need to win the rest of them.
They need to win the rest. Okay. I think their 2 other non-conference games besides Texas have been very weak, and they've played very mediocre. I think they need to do well in Big 10 play.
Yep, that's correct.
At least have an outside shot of the playoff.
Correct. Then we have the game in Stillwater, Utah, and Oklahoma State. The Utes take care of business with their defense again.
Yep. No, they looked good.
That's-
defense looked good.
Yeah, that's the kind of game I expected. One of them knockdown, drag out battles. Because you're
Yeah,
not going to score on Utah. You're not going to score on Utah. I don't care if you're playing at home or on the road. Utah's defense is great.
but the thing is, Cam Rising did not play in the game.
And that's
And
the
they
more
still-
impressive.
That's what's more impressive. 'Cause I think they even said on game day, if he doesn't play, they
They'll
didn't know which
lose?
way to pick. Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Who's he playing this week?
I'm not sure.
We need to look that up before we make them picks.
We will definitely
Later
do
on
that.
today.
We will
Let's see here.
Illinois took care
Oh,
of
man.
business in Nebraska
Let's go back to Friday.
on Friday night. Back on
Right.
Friday night. I watched that game. That game was back and forth and back and forth.
You got a point. Illinois can play. There ain't no
Illinois,
joke.
You know, I really wasn't high on Altmaier or going into the year. I don't think many people.
I am now.
I'm
on
a
his bandwagon.
believer in Altmaier. He had played well. He had 4 touchdowns on 21 and 27 with 215 yards. He balled out.
Rayola is his name. He
Yeah.
played a great
He played
game.
great too.
He played great 4 quarters and played an awful overtime.
Absolutely.
You cannot go backwards. You got to throw the ball away.
No.
He had a DJ Ukulele moment.
Oh yeah, but he did not have the worst moment of the week. We will get to that.
The worst moment. I'm trying to think what you mean, but I don't know.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
And then and
Oh,
Illinois.
never mind. I got it. Don't. I ain't gonna tell you what I think it is. We'll get. Well, before you get there, we'll talk. Well, I'll guess on it.
Okay, good. Another one. State played a team in orange. It was about as painful as the first time.
Oh yeah.
North Carolina State goes into Clemson and got smacked up by the Tigers.
So now the question is, are we buying the Tigers or we sell the Tigers?
I'm still on the fence. I thought State was very overrated going into the year.
Yeah, I think I put them higher than they are. My bad.
I think it also shows how good of a team Georgia is. I'm
Yep.
not completely buy on the Tigers. I'm not completely sold on the Tigers. I think they got to go into better ACC play.
Which isn't a lot better.
Yeah, they do have a favorable side of the ACC.
You think so? Me too.
Yeah, I mean,
November looks pretty tough. We'll get to that down the road.
absolutely. But I'm still on the fence about the Tigers. They need to show me more.
Okay. Then we also have the game that was in BYU on Saturday. Kansas State got smashed, and BYU has stepped up in the Big 12.
I got that wrong. I had K-State. I thought K-State was doing good. They really let me down. That was just
Was that not a conference game?
that was a conference game.
And why don't they have the conference records?
It's still early in the year.
ESPN. Is that ESPN?
I'm not Music Score.
Oh, Music Score, you suck.
Yeah, I know. We're not great with it. But no, I mean, Kansas State did not look good at all. I don't think they really could get the ball moving.
Right.
I mean, Avery Johnson went 15 to 28.
Not the Avery Johnson that played for the San Antonio Spurs in basketball.
Nah, but the football
This one's white.
He went 15 to 28 for 130 yards and 2 interceptions. I mean, he did not look good. Retzlaff went 15 to 21 for 49 yards and 2 touchdowns. He played really good. I was really impressed until I completely fell asleep watching it.
That's right. Doug got a good point. Player of the week one, and then Dud of the week.
We'll get a player of the week. I know who I'm putting in for player of the week.
Well,
we all know who I'm putting in for player of the week.
All right. So
one game we need to discuss.
The Colorado Baylor game.
That's a good one. Yeah, it was a wild one.
It was a wild one, but once I said, I think I'm having a repeat of what I said last week. Colorado Buffaloes, just relax, calm down. It ain't like you beat a great team and you barely beat them. You beat them by that much. If that ball touches that ground and it bounces just that much, it's over. You don't win. So calm down. There are tougher games ahead. You got a tough one this week. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But guys, it's just Baylor. Am I overhyping that? That it's just Baylor.
I mean, Baylor's a good team, but they're not a great team. No, I think.
Okay, so if you want to get to where Deion wants to get, Should you beat Baylor by that much? The hair, the chinny chin chin.
No, and I think our friend Doug is right. They do act like almost every week they won the
Won the national championship. You
and
can't do that.
and it's not good. It's not good. It's humble yourselves.
We break the rock when we win big games. That's cool. You're inside the locker room. It's breaking the rock, but you don't have anybody. Well, I'm not going to say something religious. I don't know. Yeah, let's say something religious. They had a guy praying to the Lord that thank God they won the game.
That's fine with me.
Okay. Do you think God cares?
Of course.
Okay. Well, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come.
Yes, amen.
What's going on over here? We're off the edges today. That's why what makes
Oh
it
yeah,
good.
and then they stormed the field. That was weird.
Yeah, storming the field. You beat Baylor, so what are you going to do if you beat Utah? Tear down the buildings?
Another game I want to get to. A game in Chapel.
Ew.
James Madison
Oh,
goes into
man.
North Carolina, goes into Chapel
Let me tell you
Hill,
what in North Carolina? The North Carolina defense.
hung 70. Hung 70. James
I'm
Madison
embarrassed. Poor
hung
Carolina.
70 on North Carolina. Yes, North Carolina scored 50. I called I think she was on the phone with my dad about it. He's like, so,
I think
I
Carolina.
told Dad the score. He's like, well, I guess they lost the rebounding. But I'm like, no, that's a football score. That's a
Yeah,
football
well, I'm
score.
saying. And then Mac Brown about retired after that game. Did you hear about that?
Oh, yeah. But I want to give a
I
player
was
of the
saying about
week.
that.
Our first chop on the top. Player of the week.
Okay.
Alonzo Barrett III, the quarterback from James Madison. He
Okay.
went 22 of 34 for 388 yards, 5 touchdowns,
And he put James Madison on the #1 spot for the playoffs.
and 2. Really?
Out of the Power 5.
Okay, yeah.
Or
And,
non-power, whatever it is.
and had 2 rushing touchdowns. So congrats to him to get his second win theoretically in his life in Keenan.
We won a state championship
He
there.
won a state championship with Grimsley.
Screw Glensley. I mean, sorry, I got. Oh, you ever?
Yeah.
I forgot I was sitting beside William.
It's all good. It's all good.
Okay, some other games of note. We had Stanford and Syracuse. That was pretty good. Did you watch that game?
I was watching the Illinois game.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Down to the wire. Syracuse got a win in the ACC. Well, is that their first ACC win ever? It is.
Yeah.
And I didn't see that coming. Washington State stays undefeated as they beat San Jose State. The battle of the unbeaten. That final score was 54-52 in overtime.
That was not a good game if you're a defensive coordinator.
Nope, not even close. And then we have see
See, let's do a lightning round.
lightning round.
Florida
Don't.
won.
Florida won.
Oh, that's a shame. They beat Mississippi
They
State.
beat
Probably
the
their only-
Bulldogs of Mississippi State in Starkville.
Yeah,
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's impressive.
For them.
But I mean, what does that say in the
It
long
saved
term?
what's his name's job.
For a week.
Yeah.
I still think he will get canned at season's end unless they like run the table or something magical.
What do you think about Iowa State? They're undefeated. They beat Iowa. What's your thought on Iowa State going forward?
I'm glad they beat Arkansas State. I don't like Arkansas State's coach.
What's his name?
Do not like Butch Jones.
Butch Jones. Louisville takes out Georgia Tech, so that means Florida State's loss to Georgia Tech is now null and void. That's the best part about that win. But Louisville looks pretty good.
Let's see.
Arkansas takes out the Tigers on the Plains. Are we buying or selling Arkansas?
I'm buying them this week. I can't buy them next week.
For the season. Okay.
Well, no, they got to.
I'm just talking about what you think. You think that's going to get them going, or think that it's kind of whatever?
I think it'll give them momentum.
Yeah.
Tim?
It's all about momentum. All it goes as far as next week, though. That's the issue.
Exactly. Never know. They're going to go play a neutral site game against A&M. So we'll preview that game later. But I just think they're a good football team. They are a good football team.
They're well coached.
They're well coached.
Petrino and the head coach.
But again, it's a week-to-week
Right.
thing.
And we have SMU and TCU. SMU offense looks like it's for real. 3-1.
Got that wrong.
They'll be playing their first ACC game next week, and we'll get to that in a little bit.
Yep. Yep.
Liberty. Liberty goes to plays the Pirates of East Carolina.
That game actually started late.
You know, we would have said we should have a battle between Liberty and James Madison. That'd be an interesting matchup. Are they in the same conference? No.
No, I don't think so. No.
Unfortunately, they're not. That'd be a great matchup right there to see who goes to the playoffs who gets to that point.
Oh, absolutely. That was.
Why don't they have a championship game for the Power Five, the mid majors, whatever you call it? Instead of having them play a conference mid major, group of five, whatever it is. ESPN sucks. But anyway.
Yes.
But why don't they have a Power Five conference championship? Instead of having conferences, just quit the conferences.
Huh?
In football, basketball, I still get it. You still have to have the basketball tournaments to get to the NCAA tournament. But in football, why don't they just do away with the conferences and all play one thing and the top two teams play a championship game?
Not a bad.
You try to make sense out of an unsensible situation. Don't do that.
Yeah, no.
Then we have a Big Ten battle up in Minnesota where Iowa destroys the Gophers at home.
Boy, Iowa, their offense is coming to life this year.
Well, hopefully, they hope. Like I said, like we said when they lost to Iowa State, they seem to get better as the season goes along, and that's what's happening. They got a big win in Minnesota.
But remember last year when they were scoring like 2, 3, 6, 7 points a game?
Yeah, it's a lot better now.
It's
McNamara is not a bad quarterback.
No, he's not.
And BC has a home game wins a home game against Michigan State. The Sparty traveled to Boston and got whooped. Not whooped, but beat by the Boston College Golden Eagles. Makes Florida State's loss to them look a little better.
It's actually
Yeah, what's that?
It was actually a last-second touchdown.
Last second touchdown? Yeah. That's what I meant to say. Right down the wire.
Red bandana game. Arch Manning.
It's a red bandana game?
Yeah, it was a red bandana game.
Okay, cool.
So
I'm glad they won that one. I think they played us last year in that thing and almost beat us.
And then Texas took care of business again.
Arch Manning.
Yeah, Arch Manning.
For real. Well, not for real. We'll see how he does when he gets to it, if he plays a big game this year.
Yeah, Arch did okay. I mean, he went 15 of 29.
Do you think they'll let him play in a big game?
I mean,
they're going to bring viewers back quick.
So they play Mississippi State this week.
That's going to be not a big game.
Then they have a bye week. A little bit. And then they head to Dallas for the Red River rivalry.
Woo! That's why we'll see who they play quarterback in that game.
Oh, it's going to be Ewers in the Red River rivalry, but who's going to play this week? I've heard Ewers is questionable. From what I've read, he's questionable.
I'm saying they're going to play Manning one more time.
Probably. Unless it gets bad.
All right. Now we can move on to our top 5 teams of the week. You go ahead with yours first.
I'm going number 1. Texas as always. Number 2. Tennessee. I'm going with Tennessee, number 2.
All right.
Their big win in Norman over a bye week Georgia. Can't argue there. Number 3, Georgia. Can't count out the dogs.
Screw the
Number 4, Alabama. They will play. We will get to that game later. But number 5, Ohio State. Yes, they haven't played anybody. And they will get a test this week in East Lansing. But as of right now, they are a top 5 team in my eyes. What about you?
Number 1, Texas still. The Longhorns still think they're the best complete team we've seen so far. Then we've got the Tennessee Vols jumping to number 2. I think I had them number 3 last week. But they have pulled together. Like I said before, early in the summer, I did not have as much confidence as I had in Tennessee. Later in the summer, and I'm glad I came along because I would have been wrong if I had said they didn't have a very good team this year.
Yes.
They have really stepped up by beating Oklahoma on the road. Then I got Alabama, Roll Tide, and then we got Georgia at number 4, and then Oregon at number 5. Mizzou drops out of my tie because they didn't play very well against Vandy. Barely won in overtime. But this week in Tuscaloosa is really going to show what those two teams are made of, and that's where we're going to go next. Our
Are we
Tennessee.
gonna preview the.
You don't have a game this week.
We have a bye week. So
Yeah, we got a bye week.
So
And we're
let
gonna.
you
Okay, I
take
forgot
it.
about my game this week. Well,
Down in
we head down to
Dallas.
Dallas to play the SMU Mustangs, and my early pick is definitely Florida State. I think usually when we got to show SMU the door as they come into the ACC for their first game ever.
Oh yeah.
And the key is, can our defense take that game on the road? I know they put up 59 points against TCU, but I don't think TCU's got as many.
Or 60 something actually.
I don't think SMU's got as many NFL type defensive players as Florida State does. We know we've struggled this year. That being said, I still think Florida State goes in there and wins a knockdown, drag out game. It's got to be knockdown, drag out. We ain't going to score no points. So I'm going to say the final score, I keep saying in the 20s. I'm going lower than 20s this time. I'm going 19-18. This is my drop kick game of the week. The defense comes into Dallas and puts on a show for the SMU faithful, and Florida State gets out of there with a skinny chin win on the drop kick game of the week, 19-18. That's a wild score, isn't it?
Not a bad pick. Not a bad pick. No, I think this is. You got to do to SMU what we did to Oklahoma. You got to go in there. You got to show them what conference they're in. You got to remind them what conference they're in and hit them in the mouth.
Show them what the daddy is. SMU is favored by 5.
That is an interesting pick. Yeah, 5. I have 5.5.
We're gonna give them the 5. I'm gonna give them this.
I'm really not.
That might be the money game of the week too. If you want to go bet on a game, I mean, honestly,
I wouldn't touch this game with a 10-foot pole. Honestly, this game is going to be really interesting in Dallas. If your defense can continue to play like it did last week,
yeah, got to. There's no way we can win this game without it. No way.
I mean, SMU's offense is monstrous.
I understand. They ain't faced a defensive line like this yet.
No,
Would you agree?
no, and their one loss came to BYU,
which is now proven to be very good.
very
good loss at 4-0.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Impressive.
this is definitely SMU's welcome to the ACC game. That being said, I got SMU, but they don't cover.
You think SMU's going to beat Florida State?
Yes.
That's fair.
23-20.
Yeah, I don't see a way it can be a high-scoring game.
I don't think
Florida
it'll be
State
not
wins.
with Florida State's team, unless your defense goes to Dallas and absolutely implodes.
I think they get better like they did last year. They got better last year. They're getting better as the season's gone along.
Oh,
the
yeah.
first 6 quarters were terrible. There's no
Yes.
way. That's just unbelievable how they can come out that bad on defense. But the last 10 quarters has been been Florida State defense like from last year. Last week we lost the game because of turnovers. The 3 turnovers all ended up being, I think 2 of them were inside the 50-yard line, and one of them was inside the red zone.
Oh yeah, no.
For Memphis, and they ended up scoring all 3 turnovers. We turned the ball over 1 time this week. We didn't. I don't know what we did after the turnover that time, but like I said last week, we cannot turn the ball over at all. Yeah, this is on the road.
Yeah, you've got to win the turnover battle in this game. I think
that's
the winner
imperative.
of this game will have to win the turnover battle. I think your defense is better, but how good is their offense really?
We'll see.
Against that caliber of a defense.
Yeah, I agree with that. As we move on to more games of the week, we've got. You want to start off with a big one?
Game of the week.
Game day. Fox would go down there if it was at noon. Alabama at home taking on the Dogs.
Yes, that'll be a huge one. Not only for the SEC, but for playoff implications. I think both teams will ultimately make the playoff if this game is close. Georgia is right now a 1.5 favorite, but
Georgia's the favorite
by only a 1.5. So it's really just a push at this point.
Am I seeing that right?
Yes, 1.5. Minus 1.5 for Georgia.
What's wrong with people?
I can't make a pick either way. I could see this game truly going either way. I think this is truly a Goliath versus Goliath
Whew.
battle. I think Georgia struggled in Lexington. If you
Yeah.
struggle in Lexington, how are you going to do in Tuscaloosa?
Okay. I think it's gonna. I think they're looking ahead. They've had 2 weeks to get ready. They're going to amp up this thing. The finals. I think it's going to be a high scoring game because I thought Connor Beck. Is it Connor Beck?
Yeah.
Connor Beck was injured in the
No,
Kentucky
Carson
game.
Beck.
Carson Beck. Carson Beck was injured in the Kentucky game, but I read today that he practiced twice last week. So I'm gonna go ahead and say he's playing Saturday. There's no way on God, great earth that your
He's
senior quarterback
Yeah,
is not playing.
Yeah, he's not on the injury
Oh, okay.
report.
There's no way your senior quarterback's not going to be on the field against Alabama in Tuscaloosa. But I still got Alabama winning with a final score of 28-25. Roll Tide. Uh-oh.
Not so fast, not so fast.
On the first week that we win, you're going to still do not so fast for Florida State, and I'm Lee Corso.
Not for Florida State, for that this one.
I understand that, but no, what I'm saying is Lee Corso is the reason why that happened. He come from Florida State. How many times? When I want to take this?
That makes it even worse.
Okay.
Georgia.
Still in my gimmick.
Georgia comes out on top, 21 to 20. That I think will happen. Moving on, we've got Louisville and Notre Dame.
Looking at this week, it's not as big a week as I would expect for the conference slate to start ramping up, but it's all good. There's still some good ball games.
This can be another interesting one. I think, Notre Dame, after losing to Northern Illinois,
Right.
they have turned it around. They have been playing better.
Against Pitt Purdue.
But again, it was against Purdue and Miami of Ohio.
Okay.
I can't get a read on Notre Dame because I don't know what team's going to show up. I mean, they could beat up Minnows like they did against Purdue or Miami, Ohio. They could lose in a heartbreaker to Northern Illinois. They could win against Texas and beat a powerhouse in A&M. I really don't know. So I'm going with the Cardinals.
I would have to agree.
I'm going 24 to 17.
Okay. And we got them as Louisville the favorite?
Notre Dame
is the favorite by 6.5 or 7. Okay.
I don't know what team is going to show.
Right.
Louisville has been more consistent.
Notre Dame's looking for revenge here. Last year they lost in Louisville. That's one of the reasons why Louisville ended up going to the ACC title game because of the confidence they gained off that win.
Yes.
Now they have to travel to South Bend, Indiana, and the quarterback for Louisville has played some good football this year.
He really has.
A lot better than Riley Leonard. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
So I'm going with Louisville as well in South Bend, Indiana. I got a final score of that one being 28-21. The spread will be right on point.
Good pick.
Great pick. Anytime I make a pick, it's a great pick, William.
Absolutely.
Come on, man. How many have I got wrong this year? Don't answer that.
He pleads the fifth, Your Honor.
Pleads the fifth. Yeah.
Texas A&M.
Right. SEC time.
Arkansas in the SEC. That
neutral site.
A neutral site game in Jerry World in Arlington.
Now, hey, that might be the last time anybody with a winning record plays in that stadium this year.
Oh.
Hey, am I wrong?
No.
We'll get to that in a little bit.
We will. Oh.
I got to take a breath away. You didn't see that coming, did you?
No.
You didn't even think about that, did you?
No. And it's probably the last time. If A&M wins, it'll be the last time a home team wins,
right.
too. But I don't think that happens. Arkansas is being very disrespected.
Disrespected?
They are 3-1 on the year. Their only loss came by 8.
Okay, who did they lose to?
Against Oklahoma State.
Okay, that's a respectful loss.
That's a very respectful loss.
Why you got your pen there? Pencil. Why you get another pencil?
You stole mine.
Oh, well,
But
I got a pen.
A&M has been,
Off the hinges. I mean, that's me. Sorry.
well, they both have been. Ladies and gentlemen, they both been.
I'm trying to reel myself back in.
They lost to Notre Dame, but they've rallied off 3 wins. But they haven't, to me, been quality wins. Yeah, you could say, yeah, they won in the swamp. I don't think winning at Florida this year is a quality win. It's not like
Nope,
in years
it's
past
definitely
where winning at Florida was a big, big deal.
no, it's not.
I've got to go with the Hawks.
The Hawks, not so fast, my friend.
Oh, you're going with A&M.
I'm going with A&M. Elko, I'm telling you, this guy can coach. The defense is ready. That's what he does best.
Give me 28-24 Arkansas.
I do agree with the spread. The spread's really good.
That's a fair spread. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
A fair spread.
A&M 28-24 the other way. In Jerry World.
Interesting. Next game, we go to East Lansing.
Michigan.
Michigan State.
The Fighting Magic Johnsons.
Yes, we'll play host too, if I could get to the right week.
Ohio State.
The Ohio State University, the Buckeyes, the number 3 team in the land.
This is their first game that matters all year.
That's what concerns me about
I'm telling you right now.
Ohio State. That is my big concern with Ohio State. They haven't played anybody. They haven't played a team worth a darn.
No reason to go back and recap it either. And they took a bye week after they played those teams. Really? Pull yourself together, Ohio State. Anyway.
No, Ohio State played Saturday.
Oh.
They played Marshall.
Got excited, sorry. Marshall. Sorry.
If Ohio State
Reining it in.
If Ohio State is to win this game, it'll be under the 24.5 points.
Okay, I like that pick too. They got to prove me they can win a tougher opponent game. 35-24
to Ohio State.
Spread's 24. Okay, you're right. That's about the same score I have. I ain't going. I'll go with what you said. 35-24. I think Ohio State will eventually score points.
I think but I think it'll be scored late.
Yeah, absolutely.
Points will be scored late.
It's going to be a tough road game. Michigan State's played well this year.
Absolutely.
They're 3-1 too.
They're a good team. And Ohio State hasn't been tested. I just don't trust the Ohio State team going forward.
Right.
Next, we stay in the Big Ten. We stay in the Big Ten.
In the Big Ten.
With Illinois traveling to Happy Valley to play Penn State.
I'm sold on Illinois now.
Yes, but this is Penn State's put up or shut up game to me.
But the issue is they got a spread of 17. No, Illinois played better than that. I'm saying Penn State wins, but the final score is not going to be 17 favored in Penn State's favor. I just don't see a blowout. That's a blowout when you say. No. 17 not a blowout? Okay. What's a blowout to you?
Over 20.
Right, I got you. That's still 3 possessions.
I think a 3-possession game is considered to me a blowout.
17 is 3 possessions. Would you agree? Anyway, this is a UNCG major. He's a math major in UNCG.
Absolutely not.
Okay, I'm just checking. The final score of this game is not going to be a 17-point game. Illinois has played a great season, had a great season so far. Pretty good wins. We're going to say Penn State wins 28-21. Happy Valley is going to be rocking off the hinges Saturday night. They're probably going to do a whiteout game. This is Friday or Saturday game? Saturday. It's definitely Saturday. My fault.
No, it is. Yeah, it's Saturday. Saturday night.
Saturday night in Happy Valley. Penn State wins 28-21.
Yo.
So you're back on the Illinois bandwagon?
I'm sticking with Illinois. I think Altmaier's got them good. They have that experience of winning a big game on the road.
Right.
Give me the Illini 28-21.
Woo! All right. Sounds good. I like that pick.
Our next one, we go to the Big 12. As we've got Oklahoma State going down up to Manhattan to play Kansas State.
The Wildcats.
This will be an interesting game as well.
This is going to be a bigger game until last week when they got whacked by the Cougars of BYU. BYU shut them down.
Both these teams are coming off losses.
Yes, but I think Oklahoma State can live with theirs.
Oklahoma, yeah, absolutely. Oklahoma State can live with theirs. How does Kansas State respond? How do the Wildcats respond to this game?
Do you think the loser of this game is out of the Big 12 title game race?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I do think you can't have two losses.
And go to Dallas.
I think both teams. I think you also leave the losers game out of the top 25 too.
Ooh.
Unless it's a one possession game, an under one possession game.
Okay, I like that.
I think if the loser gets beat badly, I think their season, in terms of the playoff, in terms of the Big 12 title game, in terms of being ranked, are done if they lose this game.
Okay.
With that being said, I think Kansas State has more to play for. I think they got more embarrassed over the weekend.
Right.
I think Kansas State gets their act together and defends home turf.
Okay.
24-20.
Okay.
But I'm going the under.
You got Kansas State winning the game?
Mm-hmm.
How about them Cowboys? I'll never be said in the NFL. We'll talk about NFL. I had this one time.
That doesn't count.
How about them Cowboys, though? Oklahoma State wins 28-21 in Manhattan, the little Manhattan.
The little Manhattan. And then our last game.
Not the last game, but the last of the big games.
Last of the big games, we go to the ACC. We stay local.
I like to say you're missing one. I'll bring it up to you in a little bit.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, go with Duke and Carolina first. It's a state game. We got to go with that one first.
Duke plays host to North Carolina.
Woo!
4-0 Duke, 3-1 Carolina for the bell.
I just want to say, I'm going to say something here I'll never say again. Go ahead, keep going. In the game, in this kind of rivalry game, this is only one time a year that I will say this. Go ahead.
How does Carolina respond? Ooh. This is where we're really going to learn about North Carolina, what team they are. How is this Matt Brown coach team going to respond to losing badly at home? And nothing will restore confidence like going to your arch rival 8 miles down the road.
You're right.
And taking that bell back with you to Chapel. I don't think it will happen. It will not happen. I think Duke is playing great. I think Duke is a better team.
Yeah.
I think Carolina's kind of lost and confused.
On defense.
Especially on defense.
Offensively, they're pretty decent.
Yeah, no, their defense got rung up. I will admit, I like Duke. But they struggled against Minnesota. They had an okay game against Charlotte.
Ooh.
They had a blowout against North Carolina Central. I think this is their first true test.
They lost to James Madison.
And they got blown out to Jay. Everybody knows. How do you respond? How does Carolina respond going forward? I don't think they will.
Yeah.
Give me Duke. Duke on the flip coin, they haven't played anybody either. They played Elon, they played Northwestern, they played UConn, and MTSU Middle Tennessee. So that's their first test too.
But they play all D1 schools. They have played a road game.
Elon's FCS.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. So you got Duke?
I've got Duke 26-21.
Okay. Like I said before, this is the first time, this is the only time I'll ever say, I hate saying what I'm about to say. Because in the other sport, it's like never going to happen that I'm going to say this. I'm picking Duke as well. There's no way I can pick Carolina with that performance. And I mean, you can't play defense like that against a bad team. Not a bad team. James Madison goes to the playoffs, but you can't play defense like that against a mid, smaller level school than you. Even though James Madison may be a better football team than Carolina, that's embarrassing when you allow 70 points. I mean, didn't they? I mean, how do you allow 70 points to one team in a game?
I mean,
Turnovers, special teams,
you
right?
can't give up 70 points to any team.
Now I know Carolina scored 50, but that's why I think Duke Carolina will be a high scoring game. Won't be a great defensive battle. It'd be 35-34 Duke. High scoring game.
Pick. And then what else you got?
We got another game where if they win, they'll probably go to Disney World when they leave the game. Colorado goes to UCF in Orlando to take on the Knights, the Golden Knights.
Oh,
Don't ever say just Knights when you talk about UCF there, William. It's the Golden Knights. And I've got definitely UCF winning that game because I think California's not even thinking of in California. Colorado's not even thinking about winning that game. They're already fired up about the last win. You can't get that excited and not be able to calm yourself down. UCF wins. Now I don't agree with the spread. It's too big. I know it sounds like I'm gonna pick a blowout here, but no, there's two great players on the Colorado side of the field that will keep this game close. It's gonna be 38-31 UCF Golden Knights.
Oh, I think Colorado's really overhyped. I think this is a big, big test to see. You know, I always like to say the put up or shut up game.
Well,
this is Colorado's put up or shut up game.
I agree.
I think if they're going to win this game, they got to win it convincingly.
Okay, but they're not. So there
no.
They're not going to road that. They're a good team. You're not going to go to that place and win a blowout.
You know who they play.
Schedule's not great.
But
trust me, they play in that place. They'll be ready for that game. All right, moving on to later on. I mean, more games next week.
I've got UCF.
That's right. We both got UCF. And we got on Friday night Miami and Virginia Tech. Miami finally plays a conference game this year against a team that was considered to be one of the chances to go to Charlotte this year in the ACC. But I still got Miami winning that game. 19 is not high. It's too high. I'm saying it's going to be 35-21 Miami at home.
Look at you picking Miami.
Well, I'm not dumb. Go ahead.
You know I'm going to give you.
Even though I'll pick Duke to win basketball this year when they play big games. Wait, what were you going to say?
Give it and let's see it.
Well, different. Well, that I'm not dumb. Duke's going to play, have a good team.
We like to have fun on this.
We're going to have a lot of fun. One day I'm going to get naked. I mean,
no.
Got excited.
I think this is a blowout.
Ooh. Okay.
I think this is blowout. And our dud of the week will go to Virginia Tech's quarterback.
Jones, whatever his name is.
Yeah, the guy who gave up this beautiful safety where he got tripped up and slung the ball backwards behind him into like row F or G.
Yeah.
I watched that play. I'm like, wait, what the? Oh.
Okay.
You know those moments where you're watching a play and you're like, what the? Oh, there goes the ball.
Okay, so next game, Washington and Rutgers, a Big Ten battle where two teams are still getting their footing on the season. Washington lost to the rival last week against Washington State in the Apple Cup game. I got it right for 2 times in a row.
Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago.
Okay, felt like last week. How about that? But Rutgers undefeated with a big win at Virginia Tech last week. I got the Rutgers Scarlet Knight winning by smidge on a field goal, 7-4.
I think it'll be a lot more than that, honestly.
You're not going to pass over my score at 7-4?
This is my drop kick game of the week.
All right.
Give me Rutgers 21-20.
21-20. Rutgers. We both got Rutgers winning though. I do like that. I can't. Like I said before, I don't know if I said it about them or somebody else, but I do believe the Scarlet Knights' schedule opens up for them to have a slim. See that? Where's the camera at? Slim shot at going to Indianapolis and playing for the Big Ten title.
We will see. We will see. The other game.
BYU goes to Baylor after a huge win against Kansas State last week. Even though Baylor lost, I still think BYU has to stay focused. They're undefeated. They have a shot at the national championship right now. I mean, they're probably not win it, but they have a shot to go to the playoffs, right?
Yes.
If they go to Baylor and lose, that knocks them down considerably. Would you agree?
That would kill them almost. That would end their hopes there.
Not hopes, because they can still win the Big Ten title, but it would knock them. Yeah, the Big 12 title, but it would be a tough loss, right?
But it's in Waco.
It's in Waco.
So we'll see what happens. I think Baylor sneaks this one out.
You're going the upset.
Something just tells me upset, but I
Like,
could be completely wrong.
I'm going for the Mormons. Let's go Cougs.
You going for Storm and Mormons?
Storm and Mormons.
I hope it's a good game.
Then after two teams had a rough weekend, they both meet this week in Auburn on the Plains. Oklahoma travels to Auburn to play the Tigers. This game's going. The field is going to fill up with tears. So probably both still so sad about last week's losses. Would you agree?
Again, like I said about Carolina, how do these teams respond?
Both of them got to respond. Who's going to be the most responders?
Who will respond the quickest?
Right.
I don't think that schooner wagon gets up anytime soon. Give me the Tigers.
Same here. Road game. I didn't think Oklahoma in the SEC was going to have a great year anyway. I said 2-6 to begin the year. So I'm definitely going with the Tigers. Then we have an interesting matchup on 3:30 on Saturday from Boone, North Carolina. Appalachian State has not really had a great year so far, but it's important for the other team to go in here and win. The Liberty Plains at undefeated at 4-0. Like I said before, there's a chance they can make the playoffs this year. If they go to Appalachian State, they're not making the playoffs and lose. If they lose to Appalachian State, they're not making the playoffs.
No, they're not going to make the playoffs.
And they won't.
They're
not giving why Appalachian favorite, are they?
Nah, Liberty's 3.5. Liberty's favorite by 3.5. I think the Liberty's going to win.
Yeah, Liberty's going to win. There's no doubt about it. They got a better team.
But I think Liberty is definitely better.
If Florida State didn't play this weekend, we'd be going to Boone for that one.
We would.
Sorry. Rolling it back in.
Any other games of note?
We're sifting through here. We're sifting through the pile.
Kennesaw State, UT
Martin. Kennesaw State.
Hey, I have family who are alums. Hey, Drew.
Okay. Like I said before, this week is not as big as some other weeks are. We have an interesting game in Boise on late Saturday night on FS1. It's the 4-0 Washington State Cougars and the Utah Utes. No, Boise State and Washington State on Saturday night. Boise State is a must-win for both these teams. They're going to try to go to the playoffs because I guess you count the Pac-12 as the mid-major now. Is that what we're doing?
I think so. So
whoever wins this game stays ahead in the Boise State is eliminated. If they lose this game, they're eliminated from playoff contention. Washington State wins. I think Washington State goes to Boise State, knocks Boise State out of contention on the blue field in a very high-scoring game, 55-54.
I agree. Give me Washington State. I think Washington State has played very well all year. I think Boise State is going to make an upset bid at home.
Then we have one more game this week. It's the Arizona Wildcats and the Pac-12 Big 12. The Big 12 traveling to Utah to take on the big-time defense of the Utah Utes. And once again, like I said before, Utah's defense at their place is very hard to beat. And there's no way the Arizona's going in there to win. The spread is 13. I'm giving it a 13-point spread. Utah wins 40-20.
Oh, give me 35-10.
Yeah, we're starting. I'm sold on Utah.
I'm starting to get sold on Utah.
I picked them to win the Big 12 title to start the year.
I agree. I think they still will. I don't think Arizona's as legit as people say they are. I mean, they are coming off a bye week. but I don't see them as a legit team. Again, back to this whole notion of how did one respond to the loss? How do you come off a loss, especially if you're on a bye week? But I gotta go with Utah as well. I gotta go 35-10.
All right. So that's a good breakdown of what's to come in college football. Let's get to Major League Baseball real quick, William. I think we need to touch on some baseball because it's almost playoff time. Who's your favorite baseball team?
The Boston Red Sox and the Milwaukee Brewers.
Oh,
I got Brewers in the AL, Brewers in the NL, Sox in the AL.
He's got two teams. Okay, my team is the Atlanta Braves. My first year with the Atlanta Braves. And you're going to say this is a homer bandwagon jumper? Nope. Atlanta's the closest team to North Carolina. It's always been that way, mostly. It was 1991. Go ahead.
Actually, we're not.
Okay, go ahead.
We are geographically closer
To the Nationals.
To the Nationals Park than we are Truist.
Well, when I was growing up, how about that?
Fair enough.
So let's see. We got the Yankees have already won the American League East. Cleveland's won the Central. Houston is going to win the West in the American League. Philly is going to win the National League East. Milwaukee has clinched the Central, and the Dodgers, screw the Dodgers, have clinched the NL West. There's a battle in the wild card for the National League between the Diamondbacks, Diamondbacks, Mets, and Braves. And the Braves play the Mets tomorrow night, starting a 3-game series in Atlanta. And I have the desperation time in Atlanta is real because if they lose this series, the year is over for the Braves. If they win this series by 2 out of 3, they will be 1 game behind the Mets, but will have the tiebreaker, so they'll have a slim chance of still making the playoffs. So to me, the Braves to make the playoffs have to sweep the Mets. Do you agree with that?
Let me check my calendar.
Oh, the calendar, the big calendar. There's a bigger calendar than that. Holy cow!
It is September. Am I correct?
You're correct.
This is the Mets we're talking about.
Against the Braves.
Braves.
Oh!
Nobody likes the Mets, and we know.
Oh man, I'm throwing stuff in this place.
And as we like to say, we've seen this movie before.
Many times. I've seen it many times in my life.
Many times with this Met team. I don't think they get it done. I think it's going to be the Braves.
Now, what do you think they're going to do in that series? You think they pull the sweep?
I think it's a sweep. I think the Mets collapse like they do every year.
Swallenbach, Sale, and I think Max Fried will be pitching Thursday night. So that's a good chance for the Braves. The pitching's going to be there.
The
Braves
offense be there,
yeah.
yes.
The Mets, you know what the Mets ERA and starting pitching is this year?
Not good.
5.9.
Yeah, that's no.
But their offense is great.
And I think, obviously, I think the Diamondbacks get in. And I think the Padres get in, obviously.
I think the Diamondbacks are going to fall. They got a tough schedule this week. They have the Giants and they play the Padres at the end of the week.
Nah.
Okay. In the American League right now, we have for the wild card, we have the Orioles, Royals, and Tigers are in. Minnesota is 1 game out, and Seattle is the other team that's slim to none chance of getting in. I think those 3 teams. No. Here's my thing. I think the Braves are going to beat the Royals 2 out of 3 this weekend. So Minnesota will sneak in the wild card. It's going to be Baltimore, Detroit, and Minnesota in the wild card.
I think I agree. I could see the Royals. I do think the Royals could stay alive as well. But we'll have to see.
Yeah. Doug's a big time Dodger fan. I'm gonna say something y'all ain't gonna like right now.
What?
Oh, what's his name?
Shohei Ohtani.
Shohei Ohtani is not as good as you think he is. And until he plays in the playoffs, you can't say he's a great player. And on that note,
we'll see. We'll definitely see.
Doug's about to get mad. I can see it coming to the camera, coming through the comments.
And then tonight we have 2 Monday night games to discuss. Jacksonville and
Do
Buffalo.
we need to discuss that one?
Yeah, I got the Bills.
Bills gonna win.
Cincinnati will get off the schneid against the Commanders.
You think? Don't
Oh.
pass over that like you just say, Washington's going to win that game. Where are they playing at? Yeah, let's go Commanders. Good for Commanders.
Nah, I know which game all of Baton Rouge will be watching. They will be watching the second game.
Okay. We're not going to talk about the game in New York, are we? Last Thursday night.
No, we're not.
It's kind of like when Florida State loses. We're not going to talk about that either, right?
No,
You got to say something. I got to talk about Florida State all the time.
Oh, boy.
Nah, I'm kidding. I get
New
it.
England, New England, New England, New England.
How many times you called Tom Brady this weekend?
Crying or
Just begging him, please come back.
I plead the fifth.
But yeah, we can back into that.
I plead the fifth, Your Honor.
You tell me a team I'm thinking about joining.
Oh.
I'm retired from the NFL. The Minnesota Vikings. But I'll make a prediction. Have you ever seen their documentary on YouTube about their franchise?
Which one?
Minnesota's documentary about their franchise.
I think it's which depends.
They are the whatever goes up must come down franchise. They've never won a Super Bowl. They've been there 4 times. They've had some great years and then ended up not making the playoffs.
Not failure.
Something like that. They have some great years where they almost make the playoffs or get ready to make the playoffs and they don't, or they get in the playoffs and go to the NFC title game and lose. So I'm thinking at the end of the year they're probably going to be 8 and 8, 9 and 8. That's just my own thought.
As somebody from Wisconsin,
the Badgers.
His family comes from a long line of Packer fans.
I know another girl. A girl comes from Wisconsin, and you look nothing like her. So what happened?
I don't like the Vikings.
Yeah.
Anything else before we wrap up?
Let's see. How about them Cowboys? What do they do Sunday?
They lost, and America wins.
My friend Paul Levesque, not really, but he went down to Dallas and watched his Ravens play. I'm sure that was a good time for him and Big D as he beats the Cowboys. The Cowboys are a sad state of affairs.
They really are.
Let me tell you what they should have done. This is what I said at the end of the year. They should have fired McCarthy and hired Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick would have got that team ready to play. He'd have gotten Micah Parsons' face and said, "You're better than this," and got him to play. Who's better to coach a linebacker than Bill Belichick? There's a guy named, who is it, Lawrence Taylor out there, and all of them linebackers. I mean, Gerard Mayo.
Brewski, Mayo.
Hold on. Let me ask you. If Gerard Mayo didn't play for Bill Belichick, you think he'd been good?
No.
What about
serviceable?
Yeah. What about Nathan Collins? Well, he been good anywhere else? What has he done anywhere else?
Serviceable.
All right. Van Noy. He had a sack the other night, but really, is he a great player? All-time great player?
No, great. No.
The only one I'll give is the one that used to play at Alabama, and it passes over my head right now. But he was a great Hightower. Dante Hightower. He was actually great. He will be a Hall of Famer on his own merit. But the rest of them, except for Brewski and Hightower are great on their own merit. The rest of them needed Bill Belichick's coaching. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
not only that, they also had a chance to get Harbaugh. They had a chance to get Belichick. I mean, you had all these great coaches available, and they stayed with Mike McCarthy, and they're paying for it dearly. And for our local fans, the Carolina Panthers
won a game
again. Oh, Willie McGinnis, yeah, that's another great one.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. Then we have the big game next week is the Bills and the Ravens on Sunday Night Football. Who you got? I think the Ravens will even their record up.
I think so too. If it's in Baltimore.
Yeah, it is. The Bills will win this week. They'll be 3-0. They're not going undefeated. They got to lose a game sometime. This is definitely going to be one they probably can lose. And Lamar Jackson. I think the Ravens are. I said at the end of the year they're going to win the Super Bowl or go to the Super Bowl. I just think they're in the bump of the road right now. They're going to end up being what they're supposed to be at the end of the day.
Yeah, but no, I think there's a bunch of good games this week.
Yeah.
New England is not one of them.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not as big an NFL fan as I am college by any means.
No.
College football is my number one sport overall.
Absolutely.
As we get down the stretch here, we're getting close to October, and starting in October, I think we need to do some college basketball picks. Get ready for the college basketball season.
Stay tuned for that.
Yeah. Get there later. You know what that was, don't you?
Unfortunately.
Yeah, it's coming. The light blue Cadillac. Here.
Long shade of blue. But that is all we got time for today. Thank you again for joining us. And we will see y'all.
Hold on.
Oh, go ahead.
Give us some ideas of what we can do to make this better.
Absolutely.
We're fired up every week to come live with y'all. William and me, we talk about it all week long. We get prepared. We have ideas. We have thoughts of greatness for this podcast, and y'all can come on and ride with us.
Absolutely. We'd love to have you on, and go check us out if you want to rewatch moments of this show and other shows, previous episodes. You go to our YouTube channel, Chop on the Top Football.
We will have a link. I'll have a link on my Facebook page. William will have a link on his Facebook page. Absolutely. Just click on there. Subscribe to our podcast. If you can watch, even if you watch it, just hit subscribe. Me and William want this bad. How bad do you want this, William?
Very badly.
I know he wants to start a whole page on podcasts, right?
Yep.
And the only way to do that is get the first one started off, right?
Absolutely.
You got to make the first one good. I think we're a good team. If we're not a good team, let us know. Tell us we suck. But hey, that's okay, because it's like in wrestling. If you're bad, and if you're a bad guy, and they tell you suck, it's always good to be noticed.
Absolutely.
If you're not noticed, you're not doing anything right.
Yeah, let us know in the comments your suggestions. Doug, we will not take yours seriously. But thank you again, as always, for viewing us. And we will see you in a week.
Go Noles.
Go Vols.